my throne. They couldn't build their own. They can't believe my growth. They see the change, the tone, but they couldn't handle that. Nope, they couldn't handle that. If they really knew the fact, they really don't. To have a gift, it is a curse.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel where we discuss popular mainstream music. And today we're going to be talking about my top 15 list of the most iconic VMA performances of all time, okay? So yes, I made a top 15 list of the most iconic VMA performances because of the recent VMAs that recently passed, okay? So I thought, let me make a list of what I think are the greatest of all time. And before we get into that, if you enjoyed the little snippet of music in the beginning of this video, that is my music. Check it out, guys. Yes, all you have to do is type my name, Sam Dolphin, and the music will certainly pop up. You can also check out my music on all music streaming platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music, so definitely check it out, guys. I'd really appreciate it. So getting back into the video, okay, my top 15 list of the most iconic VMA performances of all time, okay? And before we get here, just have a disclaimer that this I'm basing on three very specific aspects, okay? Talent, which is the skill that is presented, but also the gimmick, okay? The gimmick. VMAs is all about the gimmick, okay? What is it that stands out, okay? That also makes it memorable. And also the visual, okay? So a great visual that is also what creates it to stand out, okay? Because VMAs is all about the visual, okay? So this is where all the theatrics come alive, all right? So, without further ado, we will start with number 15, okay? Starting at 15 is Bobby Brown, okay? Bobby Brown's VMA, 1990 VMA performance, the song On Our Own, okay? This performance, very, very iconic, okay? First of all, the performance was energetic and amazing as F, okay? This was Bobby Brown at his peak, okay? Everyone was loving him. His energy was crazy. The choreography, the stepping, the running, the energy, absolutely incredible performance. You actually really don't see energetic, raw performances like that, like, in a minute. So, like, amazing, incredible performance. But also what was interesting about this performance is he dropped what looked like a white substance, a drug substance, okay? So actually it's caught on video of him doing, you know, his great performance, first of all, killing it, okay? This is his peak, like he's just really doing it. And he literally drops the powder and then he like stops and picks it up. And it's all on video, and it's so iconic because again, it's a great performance. It's iconic because it's a great performance, but it's also has that little like that crazy thing that happened, that really controversial thing that happened. So it got a lot of buzz and controversy for it, and honestly, it just made him better. So it was just crazy. That is one of the most iconic performances. Really talked about a lot. I remember seeing it. I wasn't there for the time, but when MTV would like look at the throwbacks, oh my god, that performance would always come up a lot. And again, killed the performance, but like on top of having that accident, it just made it the talk of town. Number 14, we have Beyonce. At number 13, we have Janet Jackson's 1993 If and That's the Way Love Goes performance. And oh my gosh, now this is such an iconic performance. So many people go to this performance actually when they're talking about Janet, but this was so iconic because this was Janet is super huge, but in the 90s this is like when she was really super hot. This was the Janet album, and what made it super hot was that this is when Janet was revealing her sex appeal. She already established herself as a great entertainer. She had Rhythm Nation, which was super iconic, but by the time we got to the Janet album, which was this era, this was her sexy era, okay? So it was very exciting for people to see how is she going to perform. We already know she's a great performer, but this was our first time seeing her perform in a more sensual way. So it was a very iconic time, very great era from Janet, and like this is one of the performances that always goes down when they're talking about Janet, and it really set the tone for like big performances, okay? This is one of the early big juggernaut performances with lots of choreography. It was a huge juggernaut performance, and Janet was like the standard female performer entertainer, okay? She was like the standard, so this was like a big thing, like a big performance, one of the most iconic performances. At number 12, okay, for the most iconic VMA performance of all time goes to Brandy and Monica's 1998 The Boy Is Mine performance. Oh my God. What I love about this performance is that it is such a vocal battle. Like, it's literally a vocal battle. Like, Brandy and Monica, they were like more the vocalists, okay? You know, you had Aaliyah who danced, but like Brandy and Monica were really vocalists. So this was a strict vocal battle, and the vocal battle is amazing. Hearing them live is freaking amazing.
I think that you should realize and try to understand why he is a part of my life. I know it's killing you inside. You can say what you wanna say, what we have you can't take. From the truth you can't escape. I can tell the real from the fake. When will you get the picture?
I love their strengths. What I see from Monica in this performance is Monica's hitting it. She's hitting it hard. But with Brandy's runs are so intuitive because they're so unique, and you can tell it's coming strictly from her, and she just does it so effortlessly and so different, so uniquely. Oh my God, like her riffs were so different and so unique, but so effortless. She killed this. Like, I love the vocal performance from both girls. I love it. The holler and response. It was just amazing from beginning to end. Like, it's literally a vocal battle. Like, literally, this performance is literally what you would see equivalent to The Voice. So incredible. I loved it. I love the energy coming from Monica, and I love the runs. And oh my God, the unique runs coming from Brandy. It was so effortlessly done. And then on top of that, what was so crazy about this performance is that Monica actually hit Brandy right before this performance. Like, literally hit her physically. And that's crazy to me because I'm like, damn, Brandy, amazing for the showmanship. I mean, so these girls were actually angry at each other. So they're like playing it out in real life in this kind of song that really is them versus each other. And literally, Monica literally hit her right before they perform. And what you see actually at the ending, and it gets even better, what you see at the ending is after they do the performance, Brandy kills it, running all that. And then they go around. Brandy actually goes and tackles Monica down the floor. They actually cut that part in the MTV video, but if you see in other clips, you'll see that part. Brandy actually tackles Monica to the floor. You know, and look, I can't blame her, because if I got hit before a performance, I don't know if I would have been able to do the performance. So great showmanship for Brandy, but that's what made this even more iconic, is on top of it being an amazing vocal battle, there was all this controversy going around. Like, it was a real feud. At number 11, okay, we have NSYNC, okay, for their 2000 VMA performance. And this was their medley, okay. This is Bye 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 and a lot of their other hits. This performance really stood out. I actually remember when this performance came out. This is like, I was like really young. I remember watching it though. I was like 5 years old. Oh my goodness. What was so amazing about this performance was that their heads were in TVs, which was a great visual on top of the choreography they were doing. So NSYNC they were very exciting performers, like the Pop Girls, Britney. They were very exciting performers visually, but this performance stands out because this was such the peak of like NSYNC, like NSYNC craze, and then their visuals were popping. Like this performance with the TVs, like they referenced this performance so much because it's so iconic. Again, the visual, the performance, the popularity of it, this was peak NSYNC. But I always remember this performance because it really stood out. Very iconic performance, and just visually just incredibly stimulating. It's why we loved them. We loved, of course, we were into the whole boy band thing, but like we loved the visual sex, the performing, and this like really cemented that. At number 10, we have Kanye West's Runaway. Okay, Kanye West's 2010 VMA performance, Runaway. Super iconic. Okay, first of all, we can only see it in like a box, so literally you're watching the VMA through his album cover, and it's almost like he poked that window, that square window with that picture off, and that's how you see it through, which is, you know, almost petty but still visually very creative. And I feel like with Kanye, this is like where visual effects really play like really strongly, because yes, there's great performances, but there's also people that just have a great vision. And this was such a visual album, so the way he approached it was amazing. Great performance. I loved how he killed it, just like nonchalantly in the middle with his like all red outfit and a white stage, and just like playing the beat and then adding the layers onto the beat. Like it was super creative. Of course, a lot of other people have done it. I know other people have done it, but during this time, this was 2010. This was the VMAs during 2010, so this was very unique and different. It definitely was risky. This was a risky type of performance, but a really good one. Then with the ballerinas killing it, it was great. Like Kanye's energy was great, but the visual on top of his energy and performance was amazing. All the different elements, the ballerinas, like doing this amazing contemporary to this hardcore hip hop, and the fashion, what Kanye was wearing. It was a visual experience, a challenging one, but still a great one, and to me it really stood out. At number 9, we have Eminem's 2000 VMAs, a lot of VMAs from the 2000s. A VMA 2000 performance of Slim Shady and The Way I Am, and this performance, super iconic. I remember this. What was so interesting about this performance was that there was actually a lot of technical difficulties, so they technically couldn't even have it really done. They had to keep delaying the performance because things weren't working properly. So that was very interesting, but they reference this performance a lot, and it's because it's so iconic, like having all the Slim Shadys all lined up. I remember this, like this stuck in my head because it was such a cool visual, and he started from outside and then kind of walking inside and just killing the performance and kind of showing us like the background and what happens behind the scenes going into performance. So killed this performance, really came out really, really great performance, very iconic, and visually I just remember this stood out very much so with all the clones and then the Slim Shadys. Definitely one of the most iconic VMA performances. At number 8, we have TLC. Okay, TLC with their Crazy Sexy Cool 1995 VMA performance, and they did a Crazy Sexy Cool medley. And goodness gracious, this is a very iconic performance, okay, because this represented this era, how cool they are, how elevated they are, how different of a group they are, and how much they stood out and how theatrical they are. This performance was so amazing. First of all, the medley, I think this is like one of the most like blueprint medleys. Like when it comes to like a good medley, This performance to me was like one of the blueprint ones because the way they mix their songs, like, just killed it. The swag, the energy, their dances, the way they swag to it, like, great performance, great swag, great energy. And this performance really stood out. A lot of the visuals from this performance are references that MTV have put out. At number 7 for most iconic VMA performance, we have Britney, Christina, and Madonna with Missy Elliott for the iconic Like a Virgin performance. And this was so iconic because they're bringing back one very iconic performance that kind of started all of this. But everybody was talking about this performance, the Britney Madonna kiss. Everyone was talking about it. It was so controversial. I remember I remember how this time was. I remember seeing it live and being shocked. The reactions, the energy, and even though this performance had a lot of like shock and controversy to it, it was still a really good performance. It was still very well done. Like, Britney did a good job, Christina did a good job. It was still very nicely presented. It just also had the extra, kiss to make everything kind of like blow up. So this was an incredibly iconic performance. Everyone knows it. Everyone talked about it. So definitely stood out. Number 6, we have Michael Jackson and the 1995 medley performance. Very iconic performance. First of all, as a performer, professionally done incredibly well. This performance actually kind of reminds me, I would even assume maybe Beyonce was inspired by this because it is a much longer form. So there's many parts to this performance, and every part stood out so well, from the beginning to the intro to the iconic back and forth with him and Scream, the guitar player. And then from doing that to the iconic, what is it called? Billie Jean, the iconic Billie Jean routine. And then he went from there to Dangerous, okay, which that performance is incredibly iconic. The choreography is so intricate, so well executed. I mean, amazing performance, very long, top tier performance. And it's one of those performances that are like blueprint performances that you look at as like a masterclass. From beginning to end, so many different parts. And I believe that for the VMAs, Michael Jackson he introduced the long form performance that you see Beyonce do a lot of. Like, he introduced that. This is the first real big long form performance with so many different parts, and every part is just executed. I mean, it's Michael Jackson. Like, what do you expect? So it's incredibly iconic performance, and definitely pioneered that long form performance that you see a lot of artists do now when they're attributing their own music, in a sense. Number 5, we have Madonna's Vogue, VMA's 1990s Vogue performance. Super iconic because of how theatrical, this is a definition of theatrics, and it was done at such an early time. Madonna really rules the VMAs because one of her biggest superpowers is being theatrical. So with the Vogue performance, it has literally everything. There's costumes, there's placement. It brings you into a different scenery, to a different scene. It's very storytelling, very Broadway in a sense. And then there's the dancers, the costuming, the feminine energy on the male dancers. That was very interesting to see at such a young. So it was pushing so many boundaries, so many limits. On a visual perspective, it was just striking. And then the choreography, and then the sleaziness in between. There's so much going on. It's theatrical, it's performative, it's making statements. There's costuming, there's staging, it's storytelling. It is the epitome of all. And this is why I feel like Madonna is one of the biggest queens for VMAs, because she really is theatrical and one of the most original forms of that. And Vogue, the 1990 Vogue performance, is an incredible example of that. Again, it was way ahead of its time. At number 4, we have Britney's Oops, I Did It Again. Okay, and Satisfaction in the beginning. Such an iconic performance. We always go to this. Britney is one of the queens of the VMAs, if not the. Amazing performance. And what was so great about this performance was this was Britney introducing her more sexual side that we haven't seen before. So she was stripping away kind of that innocent look and going into something next, and it was exciting, and she did it in such a theatrical way. You know, with the see-through outfit, I mean, it was almost like for a split second you didn't think she even had anything on. It was so controversial for that, but so exciting at the same time. And then on top of that, the performance was electrifying. It was energetic. The choreography was strong. It was powerful. It was still cute, but still very masculine and tough. So it was an incredible performance. The hair, all the crazy, the drama about it. It was really cool. But then also exciting to see how Britney was maturing as an artist. So this was like VMA tops. Like Britney really defined like the top moments of the VMA. So definitely deserves this spot. Such an exciting athletic performance. And just, oh my God, like everyone talks about this performance. Literally, this is what was the first introductions of Britney being one of the queen of VMAs. 3, we have Lady Gaga for 2009 VMAs, Paparazzi. Very, very, very iconic VMA performance. You cannot forget this, okay? There's so many things. It was incredibly theatrical. It was a time that we were getting back into theatrics, and Lady Gaga was introducing more theatrical themes and playfulness and storytelling in the industry. On top of the theatricness, there was all the stuff with the blood and the acting and the weirdness and the darkness. It was an incredible performance. Really put her out there, and it shocked all of us. It let us know that we can do something different. And again, like the blood and all that type of stuff, very controversial, okay, because it kind of teetered into the ugliness of fame. And again, we weren't getting into that. Everything was all about being glamorous, being cute, and here comes Lady Gaga doing something incredibly theatrical, very visual, which is perfect for VMAs, but also very dark, very edgy, very controversial, makes us question fame on a different level. So I thought it was very similar to a lot of what Madonna did, was not only be controversial, but also make you question, make you think things. And I felt like that's what with Paparazzi made us like look at fame at this like, wow, like she's just daring, and I don't know, all of it was amazing. So very iconic performance. Definitely top 3rd in my list for most iconic performances of VMAs. At number 2, we have Britney again with the 2001 performance of I'm a Slave for You. Very iconic performance. One, because of how beautifully presented it was. This was a time Britney was coming back and showing us an even more edgier side to us in a more edgier sound. Okay, this one was more funky, more urban. And on top of that, beautiful theme, the jungle theme and the snake. It just had everybody talking once again. And it's just, people think what makes it iconic is because of how edgy and theatrical it is, and how beautifully it was executed in the relationship we had with Britney, especially at the time. Super popular, perfect pop historical event. And it just had, again, the snake, the dancing, it just had everyone in an ooze. And again, not only did it have that element of the controversy, you know, with the animal and seeing that, but it also was still a very well executed performance. The choreography is amazing. It's very different. It's edgy. It's unique, but it's still executed very well. This was an excellent piece, a very artistic, excellent piece. And I think that's what makes a great VMA performance is you have the controversy and the gimmick, but you still have that respect for artistry. You still bring in talent and skill. So I'm a Slave for You. That performance, definitely one of the most iconic. At number 1 on the list for most iconic VMA performance on my list would have to go to Madonna's 1984 Like a Virgin performance. I put this at number 1 because this was not only controversial and very ahead of its time, even though people can look at it now and be like, what is that? very ahead of its time. It was the pioneer for all of this. This was the first VMA award show presented. So this set the standard for what the VMAs was about. If you watch the 1984 VMAs, all the other performers did really good performances, but were nicely dressed and kind of did like a hand in mic performance, not too much. Here's Madonna with a whole outfit, a whole wedding gown, with a whole wedding cake on top of it. The visual effect of it all. No one cared to go that much visual. Again, it was just nice dress, you know, with the mic and just like some lights. But here she is on this big wedding cake, really, again, telling a story, being theatrical with the costume. And the sex appeal and what she did on live and the innocence of it, the raw, the edginess of it. It just captured everyone's eyes, and every time I watch that performance, I can literally feel the controversy. Even though some people can't because of all we've seen, I can see why that was such a big deal. So that performance was the pioneer of everything. It was the sleaziness, the shockingness, and the visual and the imagery, which is what the VMAs is about. Video Music Awards, visuals. And this has to go to Madonna. She is the queen of visuals. I definitely have to give that performance. It pioneered all of that and all of what you see. And that is my top 15 list for the most iconic VMA performances of all time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with my list? Do you not? What do you agree with? What you like? What do you think I missed? Because I know there's so many. And I've looked through so many, but this was my personal pick. But let me know what yours is in the comment section. I definitely want to know and definitely be interested. And I'll check you guys out on the next video. Don't forget also to check out my music as well too. And we'll see each other back on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.